Roger Stone here. Every day you wait, your money loses value, but gold and silver don't follow those same rules. American Sovereign Bullion gives you access to a nationwide wholesaler network, helping you secure aggressive pricing on real physical metals. Call 844-272-2428 now to get your free gold and silver guide to learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver, delivered right to your door or with a gold IRA. Visit asbgold.com. That's asbgold.com for your free gold and silver guide today.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Reverend, we had some time ago a guest, Judge Rachel Frier, and I remember being very impressed with her accomplishments. And I said to her, "What are you so proud of?" She said, "First and foremost, I'm a mother of 6. With all the things she's done." And I mention that, Rev, because this has been a very difficult week for you. Your mom passed. And you have been one of the most devoted children I've seen during my lifetime, always trying to provide her with the best kind of care, always reminding her that she wasn't alone. That says much about the Bernard family. But you in particular, because you set that standard, but I have to believe she set the standard for you. So you have our condolences, but more than that, our admiration for all that you've been able to do for her.
I appreciate that, Rabbi. She was 94 years old. She lived a great life. And, 94 is not an interruption. It's a completion.
Yeah.
She will continue to live on through a large family, which we have a large family, but it was an honor. That passage means so much to my sisters and I, because we honored her. It says, "Honor your mother and father," and so we honored her. I've learned some things about dementia.
Yeah,
we celebrated her 94th birthday.
Yeah. Let's have Judge Frier weigh in, because she deals with those.
Right.
Judge, mother of 6, sitting on the bench, a wife. You still with the Volunteer Ambulance Corps?
Yes, I
Ezra
am.
Noshim, I remember that.
That is correct, Rabbi.
And the first Hasidic judge, right?
Yeah.
First female Hasidic judge. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you know what I'm talking about. You understand. My mom was a matriarch, and we were very, very close. There's a whole story there. But talk to us from your perspective about motherhood, Judge,
and how you balance it all.
So as I get older, it takes on so many new facets, and I realize that it's something that you learn every single day, and you appreciate and you value it. And then when you get old enough and you start losing your parents, it has like a whole different tone, a whole different mindset. When my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was very, very challenging and very, very difficult. And then the only way I found comfort with his condition was the ability to take care of him and say, now's my time to give back. Now I can do for my father all the things I couldn't do before, and thank him for all the years that he spent taking care of me, taking me to the grocery store, to the candy store, to school plays, to school events. Whenever I needed him, he was there for me. And that's what gave me comfort, taking care of him.
Judge, you said something before we started this segment of the show. And again, always a pleasure to have you on. I was sharing a little bit of this with you, and you said, it was a blessing, because I explained to you that we celebrated my mom's 94th birthday in March the 10th of this year, and she was fine. And then all of a sudden, it was just a downward spiral within a month and a half, but you said it was a blessing. Because your father, you took a longer period of time to watch that kind of suffering, yes?
Yes, it was a very slow, painful decline. Yeah. And if your mother lived a vibrant, full life for her 94th birthday, she was blessed. She really was. And I see it in so many different ways, even in the work that I do. I can't talk about individual cases, but I preside in the guardianship part, where you're dealing with many people who get dementia. And they all had a past. They were all once young. So we have to appreciate every day that we have. And being a mother and raising children, to me, is like a glorious gift from God. I'm so thankful I was able to, I'll just say my son told me already, Ma, don't tell anybody how old I am. So I need to start lying about my kid's age.
It's interesting, Judge, if I can quote from Jewish tradition, we have a beautiful custom. When we lose a loved one, we have obviously a funeral, but right before that, we cut an article of clothing. Some people use a ribbon, but traditionally it's an article of clothing.
Yeah.
And we recite a blessing. And I often thought, it's contradictory. Then I realized, no, it's not. Because even though your heart is torn, and that's the tearing, you also recognize the blessing that as you spoke about, the blessing that you had in the years together. It said God couldn't be everywhere, so he created mothers. It's like what my mom did, I could never repay her. And my dad had dementia, and when he didn't recognize me, to me, it was almost like the Shiva had begun, the mourning period, because you see someone who, even though you recognize them and you thank them, they don't see who you are, but it was a past, and you're thankful for that. Mm-hmm. But it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. You can't replace them.
Yeah.
But on another note, in terms of from a mother's perspective, and because Mother's Day is just, this is Mother's Day, the relationship that you have with your mother is also something that's so special. And as I become more mature as a mother, and as my children become my friends, I say to myself, did I raise these children? They're adults now. They're my friends. And they're my biggest fans. They are my biggest fans. They put me into office. They campaigned for me. They turned the world upside down. So it really works both ways. And then when I speak to people who make comments about, they don't know if they want to have children or could they have children, and I'll say, but that's the biggest blessing in life, to have that privilege of being a mother. And then it also, once you become a mother, you look at your own mother and say, Ma, how did you manage? How did you manage, right?
Yeah. By the way, I like that phrase, Judge, which I hear some people use. As I became more mature, we don't say as I became older. It's euphemistic, more mature. Like I will say to someone, how was the relationship you had with your woman? Complicated. All of a sudden the word complicated covers up a whole lot of things, with some of the vocabulary we use. But
but Rabbi, I like what she said about becoming friends with her children. My mom and I grew together under tough circumstances. My father abandoned my mom and I when I was born. I'm from Panama. We came to this country to make a new start. I was just 4 years old, and we grew up as friends more than mother and son because she had to work 2 jobs just to put food on the table, keep a roof over my head, and it forced me to grow up a lot faster, appreciating her commitment around me. And that relationship between us, that friendship continued, right up to her passing.
And it continues with your family. It continues with your family, Rev. Judge Frier spoke about what she received and what she's able to give, and they're connected. Mm-hmm. The role models that our parents have been for us. We hope to emulate that standard in how we treat our kids.
Right. Well, it's interesting because on the one hand, we're talking about parents, we're talking about mothers, and then we're talking about the women who are the mothers, the matriarchs, and that's I think to me what Mother's Day is about. And I look at my mother; she was always like my guiding. She was my right hand. She was always guiding me. She was always helping me. And any major step I took in life, my mother was always with me. And when I became an EMT, even my role as the director of a women's volunteer ambulance service, it really all stems from that pride in being a woman and being a mother and understanding, hey, maybe our needs are a little bit different. Maybe we do want to have an ambulance service just for us because we deserve it if we need it. So it's to me, it's all tied in. Ask me to speak about, maternal instinct, maternal feelings, being a mother, being a daughter. I think it's something that it's so unique, it's so special that I don't know. Like I'll always say, you never have too many sisters, you never have too many daughters, but we only have one mother.
Right.
Only one mother.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice thought on this Mother's Day. I'm sure you're the type, and I know Rev is. We can be as busy as possible, but when our kids call us, stop everything. Everything takes second place to our children. When like I always say, my parents never said to me, when I had to be somewhere and I wanted them to come to the play or whatever, or the game, they never said, we're too busy. You never hear that, right? We're never too busy to be with those who mean so much to us.
So if you want to know the truth,
yes, Judge. From a judge, yes. That's what I expect. Yeah.
We want the truth. Absolutely.
Yes, I want the people who are listening to know that don't feel guilty as a mother if you're going to miss a school play, or don't feel guilty as a mother if you have to hire help in the home to take care of the children, to help if you're going out to work, because your kids will be fine. They need stability. They need to know that you love them. And if you go to work, it's not going to destroy that relationship, and it won't destroy their future. I had so many naysayers over the years of my life who would say to me, "Oh, you're going to work, you're going to school. Who's going to take care of the kids?" And my children always were part of whatever I did. When I went to law school, they each had a chance to come to a law school class with me. When I worked in the city, they each came to class to work with me. And when I was studying for the bar exam, they colored my flashcards for me and made pictures. I should remember all these different laws that I was studying. So I think that's also a very important component, because sometimes you can't always be
true.
there.
And by the way, Judge, as our kids get older, they don't want us to always be there.
Yeah.
Well, she's answering your question, Rabbi, because you asked the question. We got to go to a break again, but you asked the question, how do you balance all of that? And this is interesting how she included her children in all the things that she was tied to.
God rested on the seventh day, the Shabbat. With all the things you do, when do you rest?
On the Sabbath. You just answered the question. I recharge my batteries then.
Yeah, we have a lot of responsibilities there. But how do you balance it? Because I think all of us, we can't be everywhere. And again, remember my parents, they weren't, but they never said we're too busy. They always said, look, we're sorry, we're going to, whatever it was. But I never heard the phrase, we're too busy. Every event was treated importantly. But how do you balance everything?
She gave a formula. Yeah. She included them. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, studying for the bar when I went through, by the way, we both went to the same law school, Brooklyn Law. And
that's right.
I don't know, when I went studying for the bar, there were times I didn't want anybody around me. I just, it's a very difficult time. But you were able to manage.
I was. So I had a couple of things that I did. First of all, I included my children in everything that I did. When I said, Mommy's going to school, they knew it wasn't the yellow school bus, but they came to a class with me. They each had a chance to come to law school class with me. If I was doing a presentation in college, I would have one of my kids come and help me make a presentation. And so they were part of whatever I did.
Wow.
When I was studying for the bar exam, they colored my flashcards. So they were a part of it. When I ran for judge, as an adult already, my married kids, they were campaigning for me. They were a part of everything I did. The second thing that I did is, and to all working women out there, get help. Don't be a martyr. Don't be a hero. You get the help that you need because you deserve it, and the children will know that you're the mother. You don't have to worry that, they won't know who their mom is. They need stability. They need to know that their mother is always there for them and loves them. And then my big secret is, I'll tell you both, is that I live around the corner from my mother.
That's
the big secret. But it's true. Women can tend to feel guilty if they're not giving their family enough time while they're pursuing their careers, etc. Speak to those women out there who are feeling that kind of guilt, Judge.
Yeah, I think that you should not have that guilt. And I like to say I have a profession, not a career, because the career has a connotation that your family's on the back burner, and they don't have to be on the back burner. They could be on the front burner. They could be on the front burner, and there could be times where you'll say, kids. I have to study. Please don't bother me. And that's fine. But then there's also time, like on the Shabbos, on the Sabbath, where it's all family time, when they want to come and have a piece of my homemade challah and a piece of my potato kugel. They're all there for my food. So it's really about finding the balance, but not to feel guilty. We don't have to feel guilty.
Judge, correct me if I'm wrong, but for years that I've seen this, I think it's still true today, the tendency of going to college, a graduate school, in the Hasidic community, there are many who feel rather than do that, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna spend my time studying, our tradition, studying the Talmud. You went to law school. You went to college. Was that something unique in the community?
So when I did it, and I'll be dating myself now, but when I did it, when I turned...
You're mature, remember, when you...
Yeah. At that point, it was really very unique, but times have changed and opportunities have really opened up. Now, there are many more college opportunities now for the Hasidic community, and we've embraced it. So it's much more common to see Hasidic young men and women going now for higher education. But when I did it, it was very unusual.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the ambulance corps, because people are saying, well, why was it necessary to form a female ambulance corps? And you, that wasn't an easy task. I know there was some opposition to your efforts.
So, it's a great question. I know we're going to run out of time, and I could talk about it for so long, but I'll share with you why I got involved and how I got involved. So when I was going along my journey towards a law degree, I had many naysayers who predicted I would never be able to do it. And I kept saying, if God wants it to happen, it's going to happen. But the only naysayers who really worried me were the ones who said, no, even if you go through college and go through law school and pass the bar and open up a law firm and have clients as a Hasidic woman, the ones who said you won't remain as devoutly religious were the ones that worried me. And I kept saying, why? Why is it mutually exclusive? Why can't I have the best of both worlds? And that's when I made my deal with God. I said, God, help me get through law school without compromising my values. And when your children come to me for help with the law, I will help them. And let me tell you, Rabbi and Reverend, God wasted no time in testing me. Shortly after I graduated law school, I got involved with youth at risk in the community. And once I helped that problem too, and I helped a yeshiva open up in Williamsburg, a group of women asked me to meet with them because they wanted to join the male organization, because that's the only one that exists in Brooklyn. And I said,
see, that's yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll make comment after.
And I thought to myself, why do we need it? If it ain't broke, why fix it? But I knew that I had my deal with God, so I had to go to that meeting. And when I went to that meeting and I met this group of women, devoutly religious women who were trying, some of them for 30 years, to join, I said, if I went to law school just for this cause alone, it was worth it. And I realized that these women were being silenced, and they were right. Even if it's only one woman a year who she wants to have a woman come to her when she's having an emergency, when she feels vulnerable and she doesn't want to expose herself to other men, she deserves that right. Mm-hmm. And I thought it would be my mitzvah of the month, Rabbi, and I would go on my merry way to the next mitzvah. Little did I know that this would really hit me to the core, because to me, my mother raised us that as girls we were special, that we were unique, that we could do anything that we wanted to, so long as it wasn't illegal, immoral, or against the Torah. So I was raised that we girls could do anything. And here was a group of men saying that we couldn't do something because we were Hasidic. I said, oh, really? They provoked me. And I said, I will show you that women could do just the same thing. And then the rest is history. It took us a long time to get that ambulance license. But it's a concept of sometimes a woman wants to have a woman there with her. And we've had that so many times. I thought it would just be for women giving birth. But we have it in the pediatric population, in the geriatric population. Sometimes the women will say, I just feel so much more comfortable if I have another woman next to me.
Right. Sure. Yeah, I understand that. What I was going to say is, and commend you because Rabbi and I believe in this wholeheartedly, that we don't compartmentalize our life. We don't put faith in one spot, family in another, our job or career in another. It's an integrated system coming together. And in fact, our faith feeds all the other aspects of our lives. It's your faith commitment to the Sabbath that forces you to establish a rhythm because you understand the responsibility to rest. So I really commend you on that. And we need more people understanding that we don't separate them. They all work together as an integrated system.
And I want to thank you, Judge, for saying something before. I wish I had known that when I was younger. You said, if God wants me to be a lawyer, I'll be a lawyer. And if I only could say in younger years, if God wants me to pass this test, I'll pass this test. I could use that with my parents, but I didn't get off that easily. But I think God has expectations, and God is very clear what the expectations are. All you have to do is read the Bible, read your tradition. There are guidelines, there are boundaries, and unfortunately today we see the violation where people encroach upon those boundaries. The separation isn't there as it should be, and that's created a lot of division, disrespect, things that shouldn't be there. So maybe we need to delve further into our tradition, go back and see what it says. Somebody said, if the world would follow the 10 Commandments, you wouldn't need the 11 o'clock news. All right, so I think we have a lot to look back at. Judge, you're very special. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to say I thank God so much. I have the best job. I have the best seat in the house because regardless of which courtroom I sit in, above me are the words, in God we trust.
Exactly right. Judge, thank you. You're a wonderful person. Thank you for modeling what it means to be a strong, established woman in her faith and open to the kind of success that the world offers.
Synthesizes,
that's so important.
She synthesizes different worlds.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk to you again.
Thank you.
Judge Rachel Frier.
Yeah, and we hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Rev and the Rabbi right here on Red Apple Radio Networks. To all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Until next time, God bless.
77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. Your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.